we're going to talk about that right here with our guy, Martin Gramatica, the man, the one and only. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Did you, so you already had the event this morning, the golf?
Yes, yes. I'm done.
Okay. So that was quick. I thought I was going to catch you on the course. My bad.
No, it's one of those quick ones. Yeah. No, I'm not a big golf fan, so I usually try to do nine and then go.
It's like, I like it. You're like in and out and you go. What about like, are, have you ever been like in the mode? Like, cause Ian talks about this a lot where like he doesn't golf anymore, but there was a time when he was really into it. Were you ever into it like that or no?
Never. You know, it's funny because I in the off season, most kickers and punters are the best golfers on the team, and I never golfed. I just, I do maybe two or three a year, and it usually it's Derek Brooks tournament, Mike Allstad's, what our
Mhm.
buddies that when they need us to come play, we'll come play. But other than that, I live on a golf course and I don't play golf.
Martine, what was it like there in New Orleans, man? Thank you again for making some time to chat with me. What an incredible experience. Well, it's just so cool to see New Orleans get everything together and put on display. Obviously, the game wasn't great, but man, just leading up to it, it just seemed like there was a lot of great things going on.
Yeah, no, they did a great job. That's one of the things when you look at a city, it's built for a Super Bowl. Everything's close by. You
Mhm.
can walk to everywhere. I mean, the Radio Row, the NFL Experience was right there. You can walk to the dome. So security was incredible. There was security everywhere, barricades. So I felt safe. Like the whole time. You never thought. After obviously the tragedy that happened over the
Mhm.
college football, they've secured the city tremendously. So overall, I think besides the game, if you're a neutral fan, you're not going to like the game because a blowout like that is just not interesting for the neutral fan. Obviously, if you're an Eagles fan or you want the Chiefs to lose, which I think 99% of the people in the United States wanted them to lose, I think it's for the first time in the history of the NFL, non-Eagles fans were cheering for the Eagles.
That's kind of crazy to think about that, right?
Well, when you win so
Unbelievable.
much, when it happened to Patriots,
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
And this year, obviously with the referees, the controversies, I think it magnified it and it made it even more that we're cheering against those guys because they were helped, they were assisted. That's what most people were talking about. You still have to play the game. Patrick Mahomes still one of the best, if not the best quarterback in football. They have a great team, but the Eagles, man, they were locked in from day one.
Yeah.
Cast the game, but we also did all the shows throughout the week. And I did opening day, and the Chiefs just looked arrogant, like, "Oh, we've been here before." They just looked way too cool, too relaxed. And when you saw the Phillies players, they were locked in. It was like, and I called it. And I'm not trying to act like an expert. Trust me, because if you hear me do football picks, I'm horrible at them. But I said you could see it in their faces. Philadelphia's locked in. Philadelphia's here. They're ready. They're ready, and you could see it from day one of the opening day.
My friend, her husband is the long snapper for the Eagles, Rick Lovato, and he had a couple of penalties. Oh, we lost you. Martine will be back in a second. Just this always happens. I'm sure what he was trying to do was trying to get rid of a phone call, but he'll link back up in a second. I only told him I need him for a couple of minutes because I thought he was on the golf tournament, but he'll be back in a second. We're definitely going to talk about meeting Messi because his whole family was able to beat Messi on Friday night at Raymond James Stadium. What an incredible opportunity for him. We got you back, brother. There we go. We bring you
So
back.
I think I hit something. I was trying to.
You're good, buddy. You're good. It happens. This is the great thing about live podcasts, man. We're just going with the flow. But I wanted to ask you about that because I know Rick Lovato, the long snapper for the Eagles, he got a couple of penalties in that game. What did you see on there? It was like those are weird kind of calls there because this is a guy he's a Super Bowl champ himself, and it was just kind of weird to see the long snapper get called for a couple penalties.
I've never seen it before. Like where back-to-back calls, or they called it more than once. Sometimes they'll warn the long snapper if he's moving the ball too much, but it's rare that they throw that. I don't even know if I've ever seen that flag. The kicker probably wasn't too worried because they were shorter field goals. But now, if you're borderline field goal range, it could get you off field goal range, and it made that 44 yarder or 43 or 44 yarder. Obviously a 49, 48 yarder, so it makes it a little bit harder. But yeah, I've never seen that. I mean, it didn't look like he was moving the ball or having the hitch. Hitch is when they
Right.
move it up to snap it. It didn't, in my opinion. Obviously, we have the TV version. We didn't have all the videos, but it didn't look like he was moving the ball. I'm not sure what they were calling.
How was it on the broadcast? Because a four-person booth isn't so easy, and you getting in there, you have to find your timing. How was that?
No, it was cool because two out of the four, two out of the three guys, that was their 39th Super Bowl together. So
Wow.
crazy because a lot of people talk about record. I think Pat Summerall and with
Hmm. With John
John
Madden,
Madden
right? Yeah.
have it. I think 17, but these guys for Televisa have done 39 in a row, and it was a crew
Wow.
of three. And then one of the guys left last year to a different network, so now it's these two guys. So next year they'll celebrate. So I told him, I said, I feel a lot of pressure because like, what if we bomb it and now everybody gets fired? You guys don't hit that 40 mark. So I think everybody liked it. No, it's so much different than the way we do it here for the Bucks on the radio. They throw out a lot of stats. I mean,
Mhm.
they have stat sheet after stat sheet where I'm giving them more of an input of like as a player, like
Right.
and obviously I can't speak like an offensive lineman or a quarterback, but on the field, I thought Saquon Barkley and I should thought he should have switched cleats. That he
Mhm.
was sliding in. A lot of times these guys they get the flashy shoes for the Super Bowl and they're not broken in, they're not ready. So he was slipping a little bit at the beginning. So I'll give him that kind of detail where like they probably wouldn't even notice that he had different shoes that he had been wearing all year.
I like that. I like that insight. I had Ian on before. I don't know if you saw this story, but Richie Incognito, the whole bully. Do you remember that story? The bullying
Yeah, with the
situation
Dolphins.
years, yeah, with the Dolphins with Jonathan Martin. And now it comes out that Jonathan Martin is saying, "Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say it was bullying." Well, the guy got suspended for what happened here, and they did an entire investigation saying that there was bullying. Take us inside a NFL locker room, Martine. There's a lot of guys busting each other's chops and having a good time, but Ian doesn't think like how could bullying happen? There's just so many other adults in the room. Like, what is your take when you see something? Obviously, you weren't in there, but when you hear a story like this, what insight do you have on that?
Well, I think it's frustrating 20 years later to come out and say I don't think it was bullying after this
Right.
guy was crucified, 20 years ago and said he was the villain of the NFL. Incognito was,
Hmm.
oh, he's a horrible guy. The thing is, you're adults. The locker room, I think, has changed maybe a little bit now with social media and the phone. The guys are more on the phone and on their social media. But back then, we didn't have that. So what did we have? We were just messing around with each other, making jokes.
Right.
And the thing is, when a teammate detects a weakness, they're going to go at you, and
Yeah.
they're going to test you. So I don't see it as bullying. I see it as, look, we need tough guys. This is a tough sport.
Right.
So if he can't handle a practice or he can't handle a joke in the locker room, he's not going to be able to handle the pressure of Sunday. So they might have been testing him, in practice, and then maybe it got out a little bit of our hand with the comments and all that. But if you took it personal, then it's over because the whole team's going to pile on you. So
Right.
I don't know. I agree with Ian. I think there's too many people, too many eyes. That if something was getting out of hand, one of the leaders probably would have stepped up and said, "Hey, chill out a
Right.
little." So as a kicker, that obviously we couldn't stand up to any of those guys physically. I was never felt that I was ever mistreated or bullied by
Right.
any teammate. So as a big offensive lineman, give me a break.
Yeah. What about that 02 team, man, with all those, the Super Bowl champs in there? What was that locker room? Not like bullying, but what was that 2002 Super Bowl champion locker room like in there with all those big time personalities?
So, yeah, that was the most fun I ever had in a locker room. I mean, that was just jokes and just good people, though. But that we cared about each other, and I think that's basically what Tony Dungy had built. He built a quality locker room with good men, and then we have Gruden that now has that energy that pushed us over the top. Because without Gruden's energy, who knows if we would have won a Super Bowl here? We had the backbone built by Tony Dungy, and then Gruden's energy, and obviously bringing that offensive mind that we needed to spark that offense a little bit because we had the best defense in football for how many years. So it was just a great group of guys. I had a lot of fun. That when I look back, that was by far, and not because we won the Super Bowl. It was just the whole journey was just a fun year. Obviously, Tom Tuba, great friend. We have a great relationship to this day. Coach Bisaccia, that was his first year coaching, so we played a lot of jokes on him. If anybody bullied anybody, it was us. With Coach Bisaccia, we had his office. His office he had a little office like tiny. So the old one buck is not the new one buck, but the players' lounge controlled the heater for his office and the players' lounge. And every time we went home, we the heat full blast, and he'd come out there screaming, cussing, and just yelling because it would be like a little sauna in there. So yeah, so we played a lot of jokes on each other.
Oh, that's great. That's an insight into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers locker room that I don't know if many people know. I got to ask you about Friday night, man. I almost like cried because I was so happy for you and your family. You and I speak about soccer a lot, whether it's on the podcast or individually when we see each other. But to have one of the greatest, if not the greatest, footballer of all time, Leo Messi, there in our backyard at Raymond James Stadium playing for, Inter Miami against Orlando City, for you guys to be there and then for you guys to meet him after the game. Just take us through that whole thing and not only what it meant to you, but your entire family.
No, I mean you said it. He's in our backyard. He's at home. I played my career there. My son's playing at Raymond James. He's in our home. I said, how are we not going to go see him? And it worked out. I'm friends with the coach, Macherano. So
Mm-hmm.
we played a couple of charity games together, and I've gotten to know him a little bit through when he was on the national team. So I sent him a message, hey, we want to swing by after the game to say hello. Just not knowing. A lot of times the game's over, they shower and they leave town right
Right.
away. And this, when the stars align, they, for some reason, their plane had gotten delayed. They couldn't fly out till later, so they had a lot of free time. So we're talking about Chirana. I said, well, listen, we had our conversation. I'm gonna go see him in Miami in a few weeks, and then I said, hey, by any chance, is Messi available? My daughter. I didn't care about anybody else. I had my niece and nephew too, but the boys that had already taken a picture with him, I said, that's all I need. One picture with him, and then that's it. I'm the greatest dad in the world. And he said, then he comes out and he said, well, he's finishing up a massage and he's got a shower, but if you guys don't mind waiting, he'll come by and see you guys. I go, these kids will wait till Tuesday if they have to. We'll pitch some tents out there and hang
Mm-hmm.
out. And sure enough, he comes out and we spend probably about 15 minutes just chatting. The craziest thing, hey, I never felt rushed. Like he's like, hey, let's talk and get out. Like you saw, I don't know if you saw a picture that I posted with the hugs to
Yeah.
my kids. I mean, he was giving them a hug because he remembered the
Oh,
jersey. So he was kind of talking to them about that, how big they've gotten. And then we talked a little bit of flag football because my daughter's flag football. He said, oh, my kids love football. They play flag football at school all the time. So he's talking about his kids. And we had a great conversation. And then obviously the pictures at the end. But I'm the biggest Messi fan. I think he's the greatest of all time. And just getting to spend those few minutes with him, it magnifies that by 1,000. Just his humility. And that's what I told him. I said, look, what you do on the field, we all know. We all know you're the best in the world. But off the field, family guy, takes care of his kids. He's always at his kids' games. He's always with his wife. You never hear anything in the tabloids. That to me is more valuable than what he does on the field because my kids love him. They look up to him, and this is a role model that you can say, okay, you can be just like him. Because there's a lot of times that you can see an athlete and say, oh, I hope you're good, you're like him on the field, but not maybe off the
mhm.
field. This is a guy that they could follow and do exactly on and off the field. Because I mean, nobody's going to reach what he's done on the field, but he's that good of a person, and he proved it on Friday. He was such a nice guy, and we spent a little time. It was for me as a dad, it was the greatest gift I could give my kids. That was for me. Obviously, I loved meeting him. I enjoyed talking to him, and we've met him a few times with the boys before. But for my daughter to, my niece and nephew to get their pictures with him and get a hug from him, they'll never forget that night. That's one of those nights that you'll never forget. It's hard to describe it, but it's they got to meet their idol, and as a dad, I couldn't be more proud to be able to do that for my kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, Father of the Year, Martin Gramatica.
I don't know
That's
about that, but
no, dear depth. Listen, brother. I know it's a high bar for certain people, but you introduce your kids to the greatest of all time, man. That's a good way to do it. Javier Mascherano, right? So long time Barcelona player. Ray played Barcelona and for
yep,
Argentina.
Barcelona, yes, Liverpool.
So
Yes. So he's had a great career. I mean, out of the national team.
unbelievable, unbelievable. And I mean, just thinking about how good Argentina is right now with how many of the players that they have. Again, prayers up to my guy Licha Martinez, who just underwent surgery for tearing his ACL for Man U. It doesn't get. I mean, my guy's right here. We're in 15th place, bro. We're on Europa League status right now. How many Argentinian players have played in the NFL?
Well, I think just two. I think my brother and I've heard there was like a guy in the 50s or something, but I never met the guy. I never heard about him. But
Right, right.
yeah, so I don't know. And then, you know, So yes, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Does Messi
I
say
know my brother.
anything to you about being in the NFL? Like, because that's the thing is like he likes the NFL, his family likes the NFL. So if anybody talks to him about the NFL, he's like, "Yeah, well, my buddy Martin Gramatica." You know what I mean?
I
Like
doubt that.
you're that. No, I think so, Martin. You're a
Doubt
humble guy.
that.
You sell yourself short, but I'm telling you, it's maybe if somebody talks football with Messi, I'm sure that he'll be like, "Ah, campeón, my guy Martin."
Yeah, no, yeah, he's hanging out with all the Dolphin guys, Tua and Tyreek Hill, in Miami. So I don't think he's that. Nah, but it was
Yeah, but
just
they're not Super Bowl champs like you, buddy.
that's true, but yeah, who knows? But nah, it was really a really cool experience to chat with him for a little bit.
So what do you guys got going on? What's the Gramatica fam got going on for the next couple of months? Because now after football, I think it's all your daughter now, right? Like all eyes are on her and what she's got going on.
Well, yeah. So Nico is, the spring football be coming up soon for USF. G, my middle one, he's doing the recruiting. He has two major offers right now, which are UNC and Texas. I'm hoping
Nice.
USF steps up and offers them because we, as parents, we want them close to home. So,
Mhm.
but they're very interested. They say they haven't officially offered him, but they kind of unofficially told him that they
What year
want.
is he in, Martin?
He'll be a senior next year.
Oh, so he's still only a junior. So ideally, if so, they could probably play together a couple of years, right,
Right.
before
So
Nico moves on.
yeah, and so G could redshirt, and then they overlap 1 year. So that as a family, I think we would love that. But obviously, when you have an offer like Texas or UNC, you've got to consider
Mhm.
those two. And he's excited that he got those big offers. He had a really good junior year. His coach was awesome, kicked a lot of field goals, so it gave him that exposure. So we'll see. And then obviously with my daughter, it's all about the flag football and soccer. So she keeps us the busiest right now when it comes to traveling and sports. And then I'm opening up my own business too, so that's going to be
Tell
tough.
me about it. Tell us. I
Yeah,
know
so
we
we're
kind of talked about it a little bit, but yeah, give us more insight.
we're going to be it's going to be Clearview Imaging. It's going to be the company, but we're doing preventative scans for heart disease and cancer. I've been in the health and wellness industry
Mhm.
now for the last 5 years, and I felt that it was important for me to be able to take it to the next level and partner up with local businessmen that we can put together a business, but also be able to help the community, be part of the community, help charity. So we want to make sure that kind of like Coach Dungy built our team, where he wanted us to be part of the community, not just play football and go home. That's what our business is going to be like. We're going to be out at events. We're going to, just anywhere we can help. But what we're doing as the business side is preventative scans. So our patients are going to come in asymptomatic. They're going to feel good, look good, not have any idea if anything's going on inside, and we're going to look inside to see if they have any heart disease or cancer.
Well, let me know, man, if I can help you out with that in any way, because I'm, asymptomatic, but I do have some history of some of that in my family. So if you need anybody to come in and help you guys out, I definitely will. And any
Appreciate
events or anything that I can help promote, man, definitely reach out, and we'll continue to spread the good word, buddy.
I sure will, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it, man. The one and only Martin Gramatica, the champ, the 2025 Father of the Year. I am the only person with a vote, and that's the only one that matters. Martin, you're the best, man. I appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your week. Tell everybody in the family I said hello, and we'll talk soon, Bo.
Sounds good, man. Thank you so much. Have a good
You got
day.
it. You
See
too,
ya.
pal.